Hey, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. We will be starting with our session shortly. We'll wait for a couple more minutes for others to come in as well, and then we'll get started with today's session. We'll just wait for a few more minutes until other people also come in, and then we'll get started.
हे दोस्तों, वेलकम टू अपना कम्युनिटी। ये वो जगह है जहां आप अपने असली पोटेंशियल को एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं। देखो, सबके पास स्किल्स होते हैं, पर क्या आपके अंदर वो स्पार्क है जो आपको कामयाबी की ऊंचाइयों तक ले जा सकता है? अगर आप सोच रहे हैं जॉब चेंज करने के लिए, लेकिन रेज्यूमे सेलेक्ट नहीं हो रहा, या फिर इंग्लिश में इंटरव्यू देना थोड़ा चैलेंजिंग लग रहा है, तो फिक्र मत कीजिए। यहां हम हैं आपके साथ, आपको सपोर्ट करने के लिए। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगी बेहतरीन कम्युनिटीज जहां आप अपने प्रोफेशनल स्किल्स को सुधार सकते हैं। चाहे आप एक्सेल, टैली, जीएसटी में माहिर बनना चाहें, या फिर आप खुद एक ब्यूटिशियन या डिजाइनर हैं, तो यहां आप अपने काम को शोकेस करके दूसरों को टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स देते हुए आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगा मेंटर्स का एक खजाना और बड़े इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का साथ, जो आपको हर कदम पर 1-to-1 गाइड करेंगे। यहां आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं अपने फील्ड या इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक ग्रुप्स, जहां आपको ऐसे कई लोग मिलेंगे जिनसे सीख के आप वो गलती ना करें जो वो कर चुके हैं। ऐसे लोगों की जिन्होंने स्टार्ट किया था एज एग्जीक्यूटिव्स एंड आर नाउ सक्सेसफुल मैनेजर्स इन देयर डोमेन्स, जो आपको आगे बढ़ाने में मदद करेगा। यहां आपको मिलेगा वो सही डायरेक्शन जो आपकी करियर को नेक्स्ट लेवल ले जाएगा। तो लेट्स अनलॉक योर पोटेंशियल टुगेदर। अपना कम्युनिटी में ज्वाइन करें और अपने सपनों की ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचने का सफर शुरू करें।
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll be starting with our session now. So, if you're coming in here for the very first time, let me quickly introduce what we are doing and what is the session about. So, this is a part of Apna's community exclusive. These are a series of webinars that we've been doing for the last 2 months. And the main objective of this session and of these sessions and webinars is to help you grow in your career. And through these sessions, we've been covering like a wide range of topics, starting from different technical topics and covering how you can improve your resume, how you can, prepare well for an interview, improve your spoken English, and so on and so forth. Today's session, we will be focusing on prompt engineering, essentially trying to understand how AI and AI prompts work. And for that, we have Ayush with us. Ayush, thank you so much for joining in and welcome to today's session. We will be hosting this session with Ayush, and Ayush has been working at Adobe as a full stack developer, and he's also mentored a lot of students, especially freshers, in their career journey. So we are very happy to have Ayush here. Thank you so much, Ayush, for joining in. So without any other delay, I'd ask Ayush to quickly introduce himself and let us know about what we can expect from this session.
Yeah. So hello everyone. So my name is Ayush Raj. Currently, I'm working as a full stack engineer in Adobe, and I have 4 years of experience. So I've been mentoring people, guiding people for about 3 years, and I believe yeah. So I've been like guiding and mentoring people for maybe quite some time, and getting them job even, and helping them like what they are doing right and what they are not doing right. So that's been my role since then, and like let's see like how it goes. Like I am really happy or maybe excited to present you a very short webinar kind of for prompt engineering. So yeah, looking forward to it. So I'll maybe start the session. I'll just share my screen. Just give me a second. Just give me a heads up or yes, no, like whether it's clearly visible and clearly the sound is clear to you all. Anyone?
Yeah, so far we can hear you, Ayush, clearly, but I think the screen is not visible right now.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen. I haven't shared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's visible now.
Just give me a second. Yeah. So yeah. So hi everyone. So we will be doing a very short and quick maybe webinar for prompt engineering here. So I'll not expect you all to be masters in prompt engineering. I mean, we will be looking like what is a prompt engineer and what all things generally a prompt engineer does. And like we will see the basics of prompt engineering. So I believe like most of you have been using chat GPT and all, like Gemini by Google, Meta AI by Facebook and all. So these are some of the chat applications already there in the market, like which you will be using. So those are actually chat based, you can say LLMs, where you generally have, I mean, you are chatting with that bot and that is giving you answers based on that. So behind the scene, like it is also having some kind of model, which is, I mean, giving that input and output as you proceed with that. So, I mean, we will look at it like in terms of like how you can create your own chatbot. Like, is it possible? Yeah, definitely it's possible. And you can definitely learn this. I mean, with this webinar, you can definitely learn something out of it and maybe try creating a bot of yours. We'll look at it like how you can do that using Python in the end. So let's quickly jump in, because I believe it is a long presentation. So like what will be the content of this presentation? So we will be looking like what is a prompt engineer, or maybe what is prompt engineering in general. What are the general use cases? Then we will be seeing like what are the iterative ways of prompt engineering. So you'll see like how you will be iteratively changing prompts and all, and how, I mean, based on your use case, like what response you want, you're doing iterative changes in that. So that is what it will be. Then we'll see like how you can do summarization using prompt, inferring. Then we have transforming, expanding. We'll try to create a chatbot also. We have a conclusion, and then we'll just wrap with a QA. So let's talk about like what is a prompt engine. I mean, what is engineering in general? So prompt engineering is generally the practice of crafting and optimizing input queries to guide the large language models in producing accurate and useful responses. So you can ask me like, what is a LLM, sir? So LLM is actually a model which has been trained on a very huge amount of data. So trillions and trillions of data which is present on the internet, they have been trained on that data. So that's the reason they are called large language models. So they are capable of answering any kind of query they want, based on any kind of input you give to them. So for example, if you go to ChatGPT and ask like, hey, I want the maybe summary for a review given by a customer, which may be of 4 pages. So the ChatGPT will read it, and it will just give you a summary of that. Is only because there is a huge amount of training data which has gone into that model. I mean, when ChatGPT was created, like these all data were feed it to him so that it can work as a, I mean, as a very large language model and produce some really good responses and accurate things depending on what you do. So I believe you all know like what is a prompt. So if you are going to chat GPT, writing something there and waiting for a response, so basically that is a prompt. So that is a prompt. So if you're writing a message in that chat message, that is a prompt. And if you're getting a response, that is actually the response of that prompt. So I believe like this is clear to you, because that's a very basic thing. Then let's look at what is an LLM, or like even chat GPT is one of the LLM. So LLM is basically a large language model, and it's an AI model trained on a very vast amount of text data to understand human like language. So you can ask me like, okay, so what is a human like language? So for example, like we are communicating in English right now, but for a machine, if you go and write something in English, the machine will not understand, because machine generally have conversation with the component in generally in zeros and one binaries form. So that conversion part is very, you can say there is a huge gap. Like how will the I mean, the model understand my language? Like it is my language which humans will understand, but a machine, it won't understand. But throughout the time, like there is a term called natural language processing. So it is basically the same thing. You are actually uh, you are breaking the human language into such that like it is understandable by machine. So I mean, I'll not go into the technicals, but you can think of like it is a way, it is a medium like which is helping the machine to understand like what humans are generally writing, saying, and all. So there are a lot of things goes into it. So obviously, if you're writing something in a chat GPT, there can be some grammatical mistake, there can be some way of writing. Like for example, if I'm in India, I'll write something. If someone is from US, he'll write in a certain way. So there is a writing style which is being mimicked by this LLM. So if we see like what is ChatGPT, it is basically the implementation of large language model only designed for conversation. So I mean, if you see like ChatGPT, it is designed to help you chat with it and ask doubts based on whatever you see. Like I mean, if you go and chat with that, you will have some kind of responses based on whatever you're asking. So definitely there is some prompt which you are doing, but if I say like, hey, just give me a particular kind of a data from the prompt, but if you go and type a same question next time, the answer can be different. So it will be really difficult for you if you want to maybe do something with that. So we'll see in the use case like what we can do. So if you see like what is the capability of a LLM, so it is understanding context, it is generating sentence. So what do we mean by generating sentences? So it is predicting the next word. So it is basically if you're writing like hello, then that next word can be anything, like hello Ayush, hello anything, or hello world. So that prediction is actually been only been possible because the model has been trained on a very large amount of data, and even it is mimicking the writing style of humans. So you can think of like it is used for text generation, translation, summarization, any kind of use case, like question answering and all. So application like what all these LLMs can be used for. So they can be used for creating customer support, virtual assistants, educational tools, or maybe AI companion. So the possibilities are actually endless here. Okay, so let's look at the some of the wide use cases here. So you can see there is grammar correction, passing unstructured data, time calculating time complexity, keywords, Python bug fixer, tweet classifier, color to mood to color, and summarization, emoji translation, explain code, product name generator, spreadsheet creator, and whatnot. There are a lot of things, like this is one use case, or maybe these are bunch of use cases. You can see like even a rap battle writer, interview questions, uh, memo writer, single page app, website creator, function form, and also you can if you see this, you think like the possibility is not just like whatever I've written like there are more number of possibility which you can create from a LLM. So that's the power of this technology. Like you can do endless things. Like if you have a use case, if you want something like which has a knowledge of everything, you can definitely go and use any kind of LLM to do that. So let's move forward. uh, so I'll suggest you all to maybe try this in your browser, like if you are able to, but it is actually chargeable. So that's the reason I have actually taken a screenshot, and I'll explain the few of the functions from this panel, what are there. So in in this playground, you are actually trying to create a model. You're trying to create a model, but obviously this model is not exportable. It is just for your playing. I mean, to maybe check something and here and there. So you will have a system prompt like which will set the base prompt. So it will be the ground. Like, hey, I want my assistant to be a smart assistant, or maybe I want my assistant to be someone like who is very good at explaining concepts in mathematics. So you can write a very basic prompt here, a base prompt here, which is like a system prompt, a base prompt. Then in that you can maybe give an example, or maybe give a basic idea like what you want from the LLM, and then you can have a follow up here and there. So all will be controlled, and I mean this is a very easy interface, but this can be done even by using an API. So I'll quickly tell like what is the API. So API is actually application programming interface. So that is actually used for fetching data over the internet. So it's a basic thing, but yeah, I mean that is one thing like from which you can create these kind of AI models or chatbots. So I'll talk about like what is function. So it is actually additional capability. So you can do some custom behavior depending on what you want to do with this model. So you can add a function from this part. Then we have temperature. So with temperature, I mean like if you make the temperature as 0, so it will be less creative. It will be less creative if you make the temperature as till 1. If you're saying like be as much creative you want, so you can keep the temperature as 1. So it is actually control of the randomness, the response, the randomness you get from the response, you can control with the temperature. You have this maximum token, it is just the token. Like for example, like if you say, I just want 100 tokens, so only the 100 words of your, paragraph which you write will be taken into consideration. Then we have stop sequences. So for example, like you can tell the prompt like I want some other delimiter. For example, full stop is it is a very default you can say sequence. I mean, to stop a sequence, obviously you write a full stop in English, so that is a default thing. So you can define some any other word if you want here. Similarly, we have top p, so it is a parameter to control the diversity and all. Then we have penalties. So if the if you want to give if you want to add a penalty on the LLM, for example, you don't want some words to be repeated here and there, you can definitely add penalties. You have frequency penalty, you have presence penalty. So you can read about them, but for now, like you can think of these are the basic functionality which is given to you. But if in case if you are going and creating something, for you, like temperature is the most useful thing, and the maximum token is, that's it, like which will be more useful to you. So yeah. So let's look at what are the various LLMs already there in the market. So I have pasted only the models given by ChatGPT. I mean, OpenAI is the parent of like who is the person. Who is the company like who has created this model. So it is OpenAI. So they have given chat models. So they have given chat models like ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo and all. They have given fine tuning interface models and all. They have given text models, like it is the embedding and all. So you can think of like what are the use cases of embedding and also. For example, like if I have some text and if I want to embed something after processing that text, definitely that is very useful in a company. For example, in Adobe, like how it is useful. So text embedding are generally used in PDF. So for example, if you have heard about if you heard about Acrobat, which is basically used for reading PDFs, so there you have a lot of places where these models are very useful because you want to maybe summarize things, you want to embed something for the user here and there. So there, like these things can be very useful. In the same way, images and all. So nowadays, like you see image generations already. So Adobe has also released one, Firefly and all. So these all things are only because there are some large models on which you are training your own model and then releasing something. So if you ask me like, sir, can I build my own model? Yeah, you can do that. That is very much doable. So you have this DALI E2 or DALI E3. These are some of the base models on which you can train your data. And maybe if you go and prompt something, it will give you the output based on that. So that's a very standard thing. Now,
Ayush, before we move ahead, can we like take a couple of questions? I think there are a couple of questions in the chat, if it's okay.
yeah, we can take them.
Yeah, I think so. The first question was from Kunal. He wanted to understand like if is it possible to use Python to create an AI like ChatGPT?
Yeah, we will be going through that now.
Okay. And another question from Ankit is like, will ChatGPT be like he mentions it would be better to use ChatGPT to write the prompt instead of writing it ourselves. So is that possible?
uh, like if you write a prompt in ChatGPT, that will be only chat based responses. So if you see here, like this is a chat based model. So if you want to chat it, like if you want to create an assistant kind of a thing, you can definitely go and try that on ChatGPT. But it is already there, it is already a chatbot. If you want to create your own chatbot, in that case is obviously you have to do that using some LLM, right? So that is what I'm explaining.
Ankit, if
Okay.
you want to clarify, you can unmute yourself if you're on the call.
Yeah. Yeah, Ankit,
Yeah,
please go
if
ahead.
yeah, you can unmute yourself. You can ask the doubt that you had.
Ankit, are you there?
Okay, no problem. We can circle back to that later. Okay.
Sure. So I'll quickly maybe give a very short answer here. So Chat GPT is actually one chatbot already. So it is one of the product given by OpenAI, but they have used some model. They have used some large language model, and that is actually Chat GPT 3.5 and all. So if you go to chatgpt.com, you are using this chat 3 just a minute. you're using this model called Chat 3.5 Turbo already there. Like this is the LLM which is working behind, like which is giving you the responses. Okay, so in case you have a maybe another use case and all, you can't use ChatGPT for that. You have to create your own, right? So that is what I was trying to explain. Okay. Do we have any other question, or we can move forward?
Yeah, I think we don't have any other questions in chat. If anyone wants to ask something, please feel free to unmute yourself. We can maybe take one question now and then we'll move on with the session. Is there any questions currently? Anyone wants to ask any doubts? You can unmute yourself.
Do we have any?
Yeah, I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything right now. We can, I think, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Just a minute, I will just move this. Okay. So if you want to use Python to create your own bot, these are some of the basic things. You have to get an API key first from the ChatGPT OpenAI website. Sorry, for ChatGPT. You have to go to OpenAI. You have to get one API key. They will be charging money for that. So it is the real money they will be charging on every query you make. So you can't just go and randomly do here and there things. So you have to get a token for sure, and then only you can execute code. So this is a very basic function which is taking a prompt. We are using a model called 3.5 Turbo, and there is a format of message. So we will discuss about that in the later part of the session. And we have this very basic function call for chat completion. So you have to call it, and in the response, like you get a response and return it. So we are using a wrapper function for that. So you can maybe take a screenshot quickly. I'll move forward. Yeah. So this is actually, if you see like, okay, how will I start now? So if you want to create some prompts, so first principle is to use delimiters. So you have to write some clear and specific instruction using the delimiter, and you have to give the model time to think. Obviously, because if you're asking the model like, hey, tell me like what is something like tan 53 degrees, so quickly it will maybe give a right answer or maybe wrong answer. It is possible because the model is not given time. So for example, like if I'm asking you, hey, maybe if I take example of Kunal, hey Kunal, can you tell me the answer for maybe x plus y whole square? So obviously he will take some time to compute that maybe. Okay, so that's how model will be. Also it will also take time to think and maybe compute something. So you have to give it time to think. So let's look at the first example. So if you look at this example, we have a text. So don't worry about the amount of text we are writing here. You just look at the thing we are doing. So we have a text and we have a prompt. So in the prompt, we are writing using a delimiter. So you just see we are using this triple backticks as the delimiter, and we are saying like summarize this particular text. So we are getting a summary for that. So this is actually one use of delimiter. So if you're writing delimiter, you are telling the LLM like this is some part on which I want some computation. So you're telling it, you're clearly showing a difference here. So yeah, if you look at another example, there is a prompt. We are using the same you can say text which we used before, but here is like we are saying like, hey, generate a book title along with author and genre and given me in a JSON format. You see, it is giving me a JSON format, and that is clearly very easy, right? You're writing just something and it is giving you that output. Obviously, these titles and all are created and generated by the LLM. It is not something like we are given. So that is how it is working. So that's a use of a delimiter here. So you're basically writing delimiters and all. So since we are not using anything here right now, so let's look at another one. So if you give a text and if you tell the prompt to execute or maybe give me instruction in step by step, and you're saying like, okay, use this triple backticks as the text like on which I want these step by step. You see, it is telling me like how you can I believe it is tea, yeah, how to make it how to make cup of tea. So it is giving you step by step responses, and this is very predictable, right? If you go to chat gpt, if you write it like, hey, give me the way of making a cup of tea, obviously it will give based on some random responses and you don't know. So if you give a prompt in such a way, it will give you a step-by-step way, and you can definitely use this in your programming and all to do something definitely. So if we look at another example, like I want to actually ask in a single sentence, like uh, does this contain some kind of instruction? So it will say no step provided and all. So obviously this is something, this is some random paragraph, and you're saying like step by step give me something. So obviously this is a random paragraph. How can it gives you a step of things? For example, the sun is shining and bright today. So this is obviously a very random paragraph, so there can't be steps and all. So that it shows like the LLM is smart here. It is saying there is no steps provided from this text. So that is the smartness of LLM, which we are actually taking the benefit of. Similarly, if we see like few short prompting, so where you are actually telling it to maybe behave in such a role, like for example, like the child is teaching me something, then there is a grandparent who is giving you a answer in maybe some manner, like for example, it is giving you a story type of, for example, story type of input. Similarly, the child is asking another thing. So now ChatGPT knows some context. Now it knows some context, like I have to answer in a way like the grandparent was answering. So it will be answering in this way only. So that is actually a few short prompting. You are giving some example, and based on the example, the LLM is behaving on that. Okay. Then we have iterative prompt development. So don't look at this one. This is just a description of a chair. Just look at the prompt. We are saying based on this description, just give me a product description with some technical specification, and we are saying like it is delimited by three triple backticks. We are putting that description here, asking it. You see there is a very long response. Obviously you can go and try, and obviously you can improve it, but this is one way of creating one prompt. Now let's improve it. Now if I say use only 50 words, now you see only 50 words have been used by this LLM, and it is only giving me the description in only 50 words. So definitely if you go and count this, it can be 50 or maybe 50, 60. So don't think of like only 50 word, then only 50 will come. So that is some assumption only. Approximate that will be 50 around. So this is actually iteratively you are improving, because the text was too long. Now you are improving it. Now let's see another issue. So if we see there is a text focusing on the wrong detail, obviously, because if you read the previous this one, you can if you're reading, you see like, okay, the description is not that what I want actually. So you can definitely ask the LLM to focus on something else, like it is focusing on a wrong detail. So you're telling it like the description should be intended on a maybe furniture retailers, like you want to sell a furniture to a retailer, not to a customer. So definitely it will develop that prompt in that way. Okay, it will develop that prompt in that way, and it will only use 50 words here. So that is one way of improving it iteratively. Then if I tell it to maybe create a HTML out of it, and the prompt is quite big, don't worry about it. If you want, you can take a screenshot here. We are saying like, hey, just give me a table describing all the things so that I can show that in a website. So if you do that, if you see like I'm asking it to format everything in HTML that can be used in a website, and place the divs in element and create a table from the description. So it is creating it for you. So that is the power of LLM. So if you are giving you a correct prompt in a manner like which you understands, and iteratively improving it, you'll get whatever you want. That's the power of LLM. That is what I'm trying to explain. So let's move forward, and let's see how you can do summarization. So for example, like if there is a review, of a product, someone has given this review, you want a summary of this. You don't want to read this review, so you want a summary. If you give this prompt where you are saying like, just give me a short summary of this product, and it should be only at most 30 words, and they are delimited by triple backticks. If you put that and ask for response, you get a very short review, and you can read it, and you will know like, okay, that is what the review was. But this is one use of this summarization, but you can do more things here. For example, if you want to extract something from this summary, for example, if I want to know like if this summary is positive or negative, let's say I'm going to an e-commerce website and extracting a summary, and I'm asking this chat GPT like, hey, can you tell me like if the customer is really happy, if he is angry, or he is sad, or he is not very satisfied with the product. So you can definitely get a feedback from it, and you can improve the customer satisfaction depending on what you get from here. So yeah, for example, if you have this review and we ask the ChatGPT to just tell me like what is the sentiment, for this prompt. So it will tell you like, hey, this is a positive review, this is a positive, you see, it is telling me like this is a positive review and it is given by this customer. Generally, in general, like the customer is satisfied with the lamp, like it is a lamp review, so it is saying like it is positive. So if you are someone like who is a machine learning enthusiast, so if I ask you to go and create a sentiment analysis model in machine learning, it will take a lot of huge amount of data and all, and even a lot amount of training to train your actually model. But here from the LLM, like which already has a huge amount of data trained, so you can definitely do the sentiment analysis to any kind of paragraph here and there for sure. So if we like ask it to identify like what are the emotions given in these review, it will say like the customer is happy, satisfied, grateful, impressed, and content. So these are some of the words with like the LLM is able to extract from the review which we saw already. Yeah, let's move forward. So this is actually part of inferring. So you are trying to extract something from a prompt. Okay, sorry, from a data already. So the prompt is actually doing that or helping you. For example, like if I give a like the same information, and if I ask the LLM to give me a JSON object telling me the item and the brand from the review itself, so it is able to extract. It is showing me like, hey, this is a lamp and the brand is Lumia. So that is only possible because of the inferring like use case of LLMs. Okay. Now, let's see, like we have a very big paragraph and we want to extract all the topics already there in the paragraph. We don't want to read it for the very reason, like if you are not interested, for example, if you're going to some magazine and all, you're seeing a very long article, you are not interested if you want to read it or not, you can definitely create a prompt here and tell it to maybe give me 2 words for each item and respond me in a certain way and give the text sample or maybe the input here, and it will tell you like this is basically a survey, a job satisfaction, NASA, and all. These are the topics on which this paragraph has been written. So that's the beauty of LLM. It is able to extract whatever topics are there in this story already. So that is one use case in inferring. Okay. Now let's see like what is transformation. So what we are doing is, for example, like since chat GPTs and these large language models have already been trained on very, I mean, huge amount of other language. For example, it's also understands Spanish, also understand French. It's able to understand Hindi also. It is able to understand English, any language you see, which are the standard language in the world. So they are able to understand because they have been trained on all kind of languages. So for example, if I go to the prompt and ask like, hey, LLM, just translate this particular English text to Spanish. So it is able to do that. Obviously, I don't know Spanish, so this is the way it is. Similarly, if you go and maybe give maybe a French text and ask it to maybe what is the language here, so it is able to tell you like, because it has been trained on that language, so it is knowing the semantics and all. It is knowing that it is French. Similarly, if you want to translate it in a maybe French and Spanish and all for, or maybe English parent and all, it is able to do that for a very simple prompt here. Now, if you want to create a universal translator, and maybe you want to create an application which is a universal translator, and it is translating any kind of language to maybe English or maybe any language you want. So you are giving an input, you're looping over it, and you are saying like, hey, translate this English to maybe any language of my choice, obviously. And these all languages are already in some other language, and we want to translate to English, and we want to know like what languages it is. So you see like it is, we are prompting to translate the following text to English and Korean both. So it is doing that here. Okay. So that is one use case, like you can create a universal translator using this LLMs. So if you want to maybe do expanding, and also what do we mean by expanding is like, if you want to create a customer bot, like which is responding to emails, I mean, automatic replying to them, definitely there will be an email coming to you. So you can think of this as an email, and the sentiment is negative. So this is the thing like which I am giving to the prompt or maybe LLM now. And it is able to give me an email. So this is a very basic email which I'll be giving. So what I'm doing is I'm saying like, hey, you are a customer service AI assistant and you want to send an email to reply a valued customer. And you are saying like, I'll be giving the email delimited by these three triple backticks, and you have to give a thankful response if the review is positive, but if it is negative, you have to apologize and suggest that to reach to the customer service and all. So this is a very basic prompt we have given it, and we are saying to sign the email with AI customer agent. This is very important because we don't want to mislead the customer, obviously, because this email can be even sent by a human, and this is being sent by AI. So we don't want to mislead the customer. Like, this is coming from an agent. This is a AI customer agent. So we want to put that here. And depending on, we are giving the review and we are giving the sentiment and we are getting an email out of it. So this is one use case of expanding. Sorry. So now, if I ask you like, hey, like I want to maybe create a chatbot, like maybe not chatbot, basically an agent who is able to respond emails with randomness here. So we want to increase the randomness here. So you see like we have increasing the temperature to maybe 0.7, which means like it is 70%. So we are saying like you can be more random, you can generate more random responses, and you can be creative here, more creative. So this is the another email which we saw from the previous one. You see like it is a very standard, and if you even repeat it, it will not change that much, but if you make it 0.7 temperature, it will change somewhat. So that is the power of this temperature actually, yeah, parameter. Now let's try to create a chatbot here. So what I've done is like, this is the same function which we had already. Now we have to change that function to a little bit. So what we are doing is like, we are creating another function to get completion from the messages. We have a model, we have the messages and all. So we will see how you have to input the messages. But for now, like, let's assume like this message is an array. We are using the same model. We are taking the response and creating the same method actually. We're creating a context here and then returning the response from the same. Okay. So how you'll input the message first is like, you'll be doing a system based prompt. So you are actually setting the context here, which I already showed you in the playground. So you're doing this here right now. Then you are telling something like what you have to do. You are now giving a input like which is given by even you directly, so that the LLM understands like what they have to do. Next time, if you ask it, uh, it is giving you some input based on what I've asked. Okay. So let's see examples here. So let's say if I'm telling the bot, like you are a friendly chat bot and my name is maybe Isa. So if I'm asking it to tell it, so now the LLM is remembering my name. It is saying like, nice to meet you and how you're doing today. Similarly, if you maybe ask it to now remind my name, so definitely if the context is not being sent to the bot, it will not know like what is my name. So it is saying, I'm sorry, I don't know any personal information because you haven't given that. So you have to send the context every time. Yeah. So you see, we are sending the context here and then asking the same question, we are getting that. So that is what you have to do. You have to send the context, because in ChatGPT, that context in these, that context is being managed by the ChatGPT, website directly. But if you're creating your own model, you have to send the this context every time, because there is no memory. Like, no one is storing your messages. So that's the reason. Like, you have to send the context every time so that the LLM understand like what is being asked every time. Okay. And then let's wrap it up. Like what else we have with these LLMs and all, prompt engineering and all. So do you think that's it? No, that's just the beginning. Like, there are endless possibilities, obviously. And if you start to practice and learn way more to work on it, so you will have a lot of things here. Definitely, you can go and try it out, because it is not that difficult. It is quite easy. I've just given you a basic initiation so that you know like what is prompt engineering and all. And definitely, you can go and create your own, so that it will be really beneficial for you, maybe for your career and all, for growing, for maybe if you have a company use case there, you can definitely go and work there and pitch something there, so that it is really easy for you to do something here and there. So I mean, prompt engineering is all about like trying prompts, improving it iteratively, so which we saw already. So that is what it is. Okay, so I'll maybe end this maybe presentation, and I'll hand over to you all. Maybe you can ask questions. We have 20 minutes here in hand, so yeah, we can move back and maybe definitely we can talk more here and there. So yeah.
Yeah, Ayush, I think we have a few questions from Kunal. If you
Okay.
can go through the chat, I think that'll be the best way to address them.
So I believe Al is asking, so if we prompt LLM to be someone, maybe like a skin doctor, and we have a query related to skin rashes, so I will give us a better answer. So Kunal, see, this LLM has been trained on data. So obviously, the LLM giving you some doctor maybe is giving you the same what I can say response will be completely different, because the doctor is actually practicing in a real world. But if you ask me like for a very similar use case, if you ask me like shall I create someone like can be a skin doctor assistant who is just helping the doctor to maybe answer in a better way, so that's a good use case. But if you tell me like, hey, I'll create a skin doctor directly, so that is not a useful use case, obviously, because this LLMs can do mistake. They have problems. They give you if some data is not available to them, they will hallucinate. They will give you some random thing. And you can think of, if someone is a doctor, they can't give you some random responses, okay? Because obviously, because a doctor has I mean, he has to give some really standard things, because it is all about health and care of a person, right? So yeah. Apart from that, you are asking, okay, it's all about how we put our words according to our needs, and better we put our words, better the result will be. Definitely, Kunal. Like, it depends on your prompt. If you are improving your prompt, if you are writing a very great prompt, which will come with time, you will get a very good response from the LLM. That's for sure. Okay. So Ankit is asking, do I have to write some prompt every time, or can I save such prompt and use them when needed? I mean, personally, if you are maybe chatting with the same chatbot on the same API which I showed you, you have to send the context every time. That is only possible if you send the context every time, because if you are not sending it, if I go back, if you are not sending, if you are not sending this context, like the assistant, what the assistant said, it will not know like what I responded in the previous message. So definitely you have to send it. But if you're storing, if you're asking me like can I save a prompt for my need in future, you can do that, obviously, because that is a personal prompt which you want to keep, so that's not a problem. Okay.
Okay, I think we've covered the questions that came in chat. If there's any other question that someone wants to ask, please go ahead. Uh, you can feel free to unmute yourself if you have any doubts related to what we discussed today. Please feel free to ask on chat, or you can also ask directly by unmuting yourself.
Yeah. Go ahead, guys, don't worry. Like it can be a silly question, but nothing is silly if you are learning. Okay. We have a question by Jyotirmay. He's saying, good evening, sir. By profession, I am a software developer. Sometimes I face some problems with code. So I go to ChatGPT, I face problems with prompt. How to improve it? So, Jyotirmay, like, since you're using already a chat-based LLM, so the options are limited there, but definitely you can go and ask the chat GPT like, hey, I feel this is the part in my code like which is a problematic thing, can you improve it? So since the chat GPT will have some context on the code, it will help you. So the only way of improving is like you have to give some context to the chatbot, because definitely if you're going and saying, hey, that's a problem here and that's a problem there, and maybe not giving the LLM a good context, So it will obviously give you some random responses here and there. So you have to improve it. You have to give it a proper thing, like where in my code is the problem, or where you want the help from the chat GPT. So definitely you can try that, Jyotirmay. You will definitely get good responses there. If you try to improve it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we have one question from Himakiran also. Yeah, if you want to say something, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah. We have another question from Pranjal, I think. He's saying, hello, sir. Can you tell me few free sites and applications for different types of AI, like video generation, image generation, chat, bot, etc., for practicing? Uh, for video generation, I believe that is not free right now. Because if I tell you the actual uh, cost going behind these video generation and image generation LLMs, is that it is quite huge. If you are maybe asking a very large language model who is trained on very much videos and all, so if you are going and even telling the LLM to maybe generate me only few seconds of video, so that actually is very computational heavy, because you are just writing word, but for that LLM they have to go and do some intense processing here and there. So it is not that straightforward. It will take a lot of computation. So for me, like, video generation was free in the starting, but now, like, with the coming of Sora and all, a lot of free tools have been coming. So every day there are some tools coming, and they are free in the beginning, but now with time, obviously with the usage which is very huge right now, they have to maybe limit it, because they have to bear cost here. So for video generation, I personally don't have any recommendation. For image generations, you can use maybe uh, mid journey, or you can use Adobe Firefly. I think it is free for 50 credits and all. You can use that. For chatbot, I think ChatGPT is one of the best. You can use even Gemini. It is given by Google, or nowadays I see like Meta has also released. It is Meta AI. So you can definitely use those chatbots. They are free. They are free completely. You can practice there. You can go and write some prompt. You can practice there, because if you want to create your own, that is not how you should do it. Because obviously if you go and try to create it on a chat bot which is already created, obviously it will give you responses because it has been trained already. It will not respond because it will not train it. So if you want to create your own, you have to go this path only. Okay. Okay, Pranjal. I believe I answered your question. Ankit is asking, few minutes ago you say we create your own model. Can we create it with free versions, or it need premium version? I think you're confused here. See, if you are creating a model, for example, like if you are going to, let me just go back to the playground. Just a minute. If I go to this playground, this is actually free for maybe till $5. If you are writing a prompt, the cost is being bared upon how much token you're passing. Okay, so you can go and see, there is a table. I think you have to share a link. Obviously, I have to go and find that link. You will go on a OpenAI docs, and you can see like what are the different tokens. So based on the tokens, they are charging some money, but they are giving you $5 for free. So you can go and try it out, the free part here. And definitely if you find it very useful, you have to pay some amount of money. It is not like they are asking you to pay huge amount of money. They're just telling you, like, if you are prompting something, we will be charging you based on how much token you're passing to my model. Okay, that's the only thing. So it is nothing to do with the chat gpt premium. There is nothing to do with that. So if you are confused on that part, don't get confused, because there is nothing to do with that thing. Definitely, because that is a different thing. Chat gpt premium is a different thing. And creating your own model based on your prompts and tokens, that is a different thing. Okay, I believe that clarifies your doubt. Okay. Radhana is asking, currently I am in first year of the BTech. So Where should I start web development? I'm very confused. Where should I start? Uh, Please tell me some tips. Radhana, I think for you, you should start from the very basic, maybe learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And uh, definitely you can go and see what are the different web developer roadmap. I'll share a link, like it is very good for now. You can go and learn maybe from that first. uh, I mean, you can go and see like what all things you have to maybe do in the starting, and then you can maybe proceed further for maybe what you want to do, because web development is also a very big career. So I'll not say directly something, but you can definitely go and check out this website called roadmap.sh. You can see like it is telling you like what is the roadmap of learning something, and you can explore the various roadmaps for sure. Okay. Pranjal is asking, can you tell me about the scope? I am not able to see your response completely. Of professional prompt engineer as a career. Uh, Pranjal, for now, like there is not that much of demand of prompt engineers as such. But if you ask me, like, uh, can there be a project where something has to be created and you have to do some prompt engineering there? Definitely, there it is useful for in that cases, because there is no such role right now for a directly for prompt engineer. Like there is no such role right now. Like they only want to hire you for writing these prompts. No, they will be hiring you for creating something. I mean, there will be some underlying product and you will be doing some prompt engineering there. So that's the thing. Okay. So that's the scope. If you learn something, it will be useful for sure. Okay. That's not a thing, like it's not a bad thing. uh okay. Hima Karan is asking, hey Ayush, TKS for thank you so much for brief session. May I know few best practices to improve the accuracy of the responses? I mean, what prospective prompt engineering course is useful for customer support executive? Yeah. So Himakaran, I'll say like the best practices will be to do iterative prompt engineering and improving and seeing like what all use cases you want to cater as a customer support executive. And I mean, for you, definitely, if I create a chatbot like which is able to respond on its own, uh, it will be really challenging for someone like who is a customer executive, right? Because their job is in danger right now. So for them, you should be someone like who is able to create such kind of bots for a use case, right? So uh, I think I have answered your question partly now. So I think you should go for learning, because uh, if you are a customer support executive, if I really don't know, but if you are, then you should definitely learn prompt engineering and change your career, because that's a risk. Like, because right now there are models like which can convert a text to speech. Okay. Similarly, there are models like which can convert speech to text. So if the customer is coming, if the customer is calling, they can definitely keep a bot there, and the bot will listen to whatever you're saying. It will convert a text, and fewer number of peoples or fewer number of customer executive will be required, because obviously the main work is being done by the bot now. So that's the thing. Okay. Jyotirmay has another question. Sir, I have half an hour late, so office will do at 7. So please share the things you have thought before.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, for
yeah,
so Jyotirmoy,
you can
we will
answer that.
be like uploading the video of the session on the website, so you can check it from there. You, if in case you missed out any parts, let me just check. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I think we've addressed all the questions that came on chat. Is there any one question, any last question? We can maybe answer one more before we move towards the end of the call. If there's any other last question that someone wants to ask?
Yeah, go ahead, guys. Like, if you have, we can take it more. Maybe we have more 5 minutes here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all that we had for today. So Ayush, before I move towards the conclusion, if you have any parting words, anything that you want to say to the audience here before we head out?
Uh, like like for anyone who is aspiring to be a prompt engineer, I'll say you should definitely go and learn this new technology for sure. I mean, this is one new thing in the market, and if you know it, obviously you will have some edge over someone who is doing the same thing, because if you are able to do something quicker, you will be more productive, and obviously it will help you in the long run. So you should not think of like, if I'm learning this skill, it is not being used directly to me. But definitely if you are learning something, it will be in use, maybe in your job, in your profile, or in building a career there. So I'll say, like, don't be hesitant to go forward and learn something. For me also, like, it is a new thing. For you also, it's a new thing. So learning is never a waste. Okay. So I'll really encourage everyone to go and learn new thing any day. And yeah. So I'll also share my LinkedIn profile. So in case if someone wants to uh, reach me out, you can definitely go and check it out and maybe reach me. Uh, and in case if someone wants to connect with me personally here and there, you can do that. And even you can check my YouTube channel and all. So I have some new channel coming. So yeah. So I'll hand over to yeah.
Ayush, if you want, you can like tag your YouTube channel here in the chat so that people can, check it out.
Yeah, I think it is with the same. I'll just write this one.
Okay.
If you try this, you can definitely go to this. This is the username for that. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, I'll end the sharing.
Yeah. All right. So as we come towards the end of this session, I'll quickly reiterate a couple of things as a reminder. In the chat, you will find a feedback form. So please let us know how you found today's session. If there's any suggestions that you have for us, something that we can work on, any topics that you want us to cover in the upcoming sessions, please let us know through the form. I've also shared the link of our website. So a lot of, like, I think Jyotirmoy wanted to check the recording. He joined in late. So in case there's other people like that, you can always check the recording of the session from the website. We'll be uploading it by tomorrow. And you can also check recordings of other sessions that we've had in the past. So we've already done over 60 sessions like these, covering like a wide range of topics. So you can check those sessions out. You can also register for the upcoming sessions. We have posted which all sessions are coming up in the next few days. So you can check it out from there and, register. These are all free sessions, so you're welcome to join in. And this is again an initiative from Apna side to help all our community members advance in their career, learn new things, and upskill themselves. So yeah, it was a really great session, and thank you so much, Ayush, for conducting this. And thank you everyone for joining in and making this a successful one. I hope you found this useful, and yeah, we hope to see you all in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Nice to give this session. So yeah, seeing to come more from Apna here. So yeah, thank you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.